Hey dog lovers, I'm Lisa the Holistic Groomer, and today's video is about emergency care if your dog is stung by a bee or bitten by a spider or even a snake bite. So whether or not you're going to take your dog to the vet is irrelevant in the moment that it happens. You need to do something right then and there, and that's what this video is about. The first thing you want to do is disinfect and numb the area. Carry with you when you go hiking in your little first aid kit that you should have in your backpack, or even in your fanny pack or bait bag. You can fit a couple little what are they called, sting relief pads. Okay, I get these right on Amazon. This is the 10-pack that I keep in the first aid kit. I also have the big box in the house, in the grooming shop rather. So yeah, get these sting relief pads. This is benzocaine. Yes, dogs can be treated with benzocaine, all right? It's no different than your Bactine has a form of benzocaine also. It also has lidocaine, another numbing agent. So these things will numb the area. Now, you can't let the dog lick these. So when you're out, like I said, emergency care, when you're out and you're walking the dog, hiking, you know, you're right with the dog, you can keep them from licking it. Especially if it's inside the ear or something, well, they can't get to it, can they? So, and that's usually where they get the bee stings. Their nose is in the grass, and it's usually somewhere on the face or the ear. So, yeah, I can't recommend these highly enough, all right? When you get home then, what you want to do is, the best thing I have found is corn flour hydrosol, which I've had in a few videos now, and plantain salve. Oh my gosh. Now the corn flour you can get in tincture form that has alcohol, so I tend to not use it in my grooming salon. You can probably find a glycerin-based one, which is better for dogs. Yeah, but you know, I just always have the hydrosol. And these things, or this stuff, you know, this corn flour hydrosol is just so amazing for so many things. I typically use it for hematomas. So when Hazel came home with a bee sting a few weeks ago, after she was out with her dad, and her ear was already swelling and it was flaming red, and because I use this to prevent hematomas, this was the first thing I grabbed before I even could find my plantain salve, and it immediately started working. And I didn't even really think of it as something for bee stings, so I looked it up later, and sure enough, the Plains Indians have been using corn flour forever for bee stings and bug bites and snake bites. Any kind of poisonous bite, they use corn flour, okay? Another great reason to get it. And especially if the dog is got the sting or the bite on their eyelid or very close to the eye, you can't just, you know, obviously you're not going to spray Bactine in their eye, and you can't even really wipe it with this because you can't get that stuff in the eye. Corn flour, yes, you can get it right in the eye. In fact, that's one of the main purposes or uses for corn flour is eye infections and eye irritations. So yeah, it would behoove you to have some. Okay, so like I said, plantain has been the gold standard of treating bee stings forever. So yes, get some plantain salve. And now, you need to know the difference between a simple reaction and a severe reaction. A simple reaction is just like the dog is, you know, may scream and yelp, and the area is swelling, it's getting red, and maybe they're pawing at it, or they don't want you to touch it. That's an average reaction. But if their gums are becoming pale and they're drooling and their face starts to swell, they seem unusually restless and agitated, their breath is quickened, those are severe symptoms, and in that case you want to administer Apis 200C or 30C or Benadryl. You probably already have Benadryl, but for those of you who use homeopathy, you probably have Apis laying around. That's what you want to give them. The instructions for everything I'm telling you is in are in the description box. Okay, now if it is a bee sting and you can see the area clearly, the first thing you need to do is check for the stinger. I have never once seen the stinger still in a person or an animal, so, but you know, you always check, right? You don't want to use tweezers because you're going to actually squeeze the venom, more venom into the dog. You want to scrape it out if you, you know, I have no fingernails, right? Dog groomers usually don't. But if you have nice long fingernails, you can just use your fingernail. Otherwise, use a credit card and scrape that stinger out. That's what you do before you even wipe with the benzocaine pads. Okay. Now, I also listed the other natural remedies in the description box because honey has typically been used. Baking soda, you make a paste out of baking soda. You dab on honey. What's the other one? There's another very common one. Cold compresses. Oh, CBD, chamomile, and aloe vera gel. All right, so, you can use any of those if you don't have any plantain yet, if you don't have any corn flour, but definitely at least get some Bactine. You can get it anywhere. It's very inexpensive. And then you'll have that. Okay, so like I said, all the instructions are in the description box below, and thanks for watching. Now go play with your dog. Bye, everybody.